March 13, 2022, Mexico City. A protected FBI witness grips the steering wheel with trembling hands. The same headlights have been following him for 10 minutes. His handler is calling, but he can't risk answering. The headlights are still there, hunting, waiting. He was supposed to be untouchable. Protected witness, that's what they called him. But the cartel found him anyway. The two black SUVs flank him. They know exactly where he's going. Masked gunmen step out with the rifles raised. He slams the brakes. Tires scream. His mind races. How did they know? An agent betrayed me? What did I miss? 2018. Bright morning, Mexico City. The U.S. Embassy's gates are open as staff trickle out for the day. Across the street, a young man in a beat-up Honda pretends to nap. In reality, his eyes track every person leaving the compound. This is the hacker, the cartel's newest weapon. He's no hardened sicario, just a tech mercenary for hire, armed with a keyboard instead of a gun. He spins a phone in his hand, acting bored. Behind the facade, he's laser-focused. His employers want an FBI agent, specifically the assistant legal attaché assigned to the embassy. They didn't tell the hacker a name. They don't have one. Yet, because that's the hacker job. Figure out who the agent is, then crack open their life. It takes 2 long days of stakeouts. Then he spots a pattern. Same man, same routine. A tall American exiting around 7:30 a.m., always checking his surroundings. No diplomatic plates on the car. This guy flies under the radar, but the cautious body language is a giveaway. Bingo. The hacker is pretty sure he's found his mark. But finding him was the easy part. What comes next would change everything. Now, to be sure, he powers on a makeshift device in his laptop, a souped-up radio sniffing for cell signals. As the American sedan pulls away, the device pings. Got it. The target's phone number lights up on the hacker's screen, pulled straight out of the nothing. He smiles. OPSEC was never the Bureau's strong suit. In 72 hours, that mistake would cost lives. But first, he had to crack the code that even the NSA couldn't break. Or could they? The hacker doesn't need to follow the agent. Why risk a tail when he can invade from afar? With that phone number, he can hunt from behind a keyboard. But how exactly does a hacker break into an FBI phone without triggering a single alarm? And what happens when the cartel gets their first taste of classified intelligence? That night, the hacker starts typing something on his keyboard, turning that phone number into a golden key. The one that allows him to watch the FBI's defenses crumble. He finds the back door in the global phone network, the same one the NSA uses, the same one they swear doesn't exist. Within hours, he tunnels into the cellular system and pulls what he needs. For a tense moment, he watches for any sign of an alarm. A security alert, the phone suddenly locking down. But nothing. He's in. A direct line into the attaché's phone activity. Bingo. Every call the FBI agent makes or receives, every cell tower ping broadcasting his GPS coordinates, all of it goes into the hacker's custom dashboard in real time. He can see the agent's life mapped out. Who he calls, where he goes, when he moves. The agent's phone becomes a 24/7 private security camera he carries on his own pocket. The hacker smiles at the role reversal. Usually it's the DEA or FBI wiretapping cartel bosses, not the other way around. It's almost too easy. In the 21st century, you don't need to plant a physical bug on someone to track them. Their smartphone is a beacon they carry willingly. There's an entire underground market built on this premise. Your location, your calls, your life, all for sale on the dark web for anyone with cash or skills. Even an FBI operative, careful as he is, can't escape this market. The hacker sets the feed on autopilot. From now on, every few seconds, a fresh GPS pin drops on the map. The hunter had become the hunted, and he had no idea. How many meetings would the attaché schedule before realizing every informant he touched turned up dead? Each time the attaché dials a number, a log of it appears on screen. He siphons it all to a secure server his cartel handlers can access, effectively mirroring the agent's phone straight into cartel command. Essentially, the FBI's own phone system has been quietly turned against it. A billion-dollar agency from the United States outsmarted by a $50,000 piece of code. The assistant attaché has no clue. Why would he? His phone isn't malfunctioning, nothing seems weird. No alarms in FBI headquarters either. This breach is a ghost, invisible. And it's about to feed the Sinaloa cartel invaluable intelligence on a silver platter. The cartel opens a live, clandestine window into the FBI's operations in Mexico. And now that they watch every move the FBI makes, which informant will they target first? And how long before the attaché realizes his phone has become a weapon against his own people? A week later, the FBI attaché sets up a meeting with one of his contacts, a local man who claims to have information on the cartel. They arrange to chat at a quiet cafe on the west side of the city, just two faces in the morning crowd. The agent believes the meet is covert. He couldn't be more wrong. Across town, the hacker is already tuned in. The attaché's phone pinged a cell tower near the cafe moments ago. In an instant, the hacker pulls up a live feed from Mexico City's vast CCTV network. The city bristles with some 58,000 government-run street cameras. Sure enough, one camera's view shows the cafe entrance. It's a dark irony. The security system meant to protect the public is now commandeered to help a cartel hunt its prey. He spots his FBI target inside, chatting with a younger man in a baseball cap. That must be the informant. The informant glances around nervously, unaware that high above, a camera is capturing his every move. He has no idea a cartel spy is literally watching him from miles away. They shake hands and part ways. Just another Tuesday morning in Mexico City. It feels routine, but the informant has 6 hours to live, and he's not the only one being watched right now. That night, the informant hums along to the radio while he drives home, streetlights flickering past. His guard is down. The meeting went perfectly. He doesn't notice the SUV that has been trailing him since he left the cafe, not until it's too late. The SUV accelerates and cuts him off. Two men jump out and snatch him before he can react, shoving him into the back. His phone hits the pavement, screen cracks. 3 seconds of struggle, then silence. Only tire marks remain on the pavement. By the next morning, the local news will report a missing person. The FBI attaché is left scratching his head. His source has inexplicably vanished. Frantic, he calls the man's number again and again. Nothing but voicemail. There's no body, no witnesses, just questions. He doesn't know the cartel was one step ahead the whole time, using his own shadow to erase his informant. Meanwhile, at cartel headquarters, word of the informant's fate filters in. The hacker gets a curt text, "Got him." He allows himself a moment of grim satisfaction. His data delivered death. But he also knows this is just the beginning. The cartel isn't done. This victim won't be the last. But who's next on the kill list? How many more informants are meeting with the attaché right now, unaware they're already being watched? And what happens when one of them gets a warning? For the next few months, the FBI attaché proceeds with caution, or so he thinks. He rotates meeting spots, varies his routes, and communicates with informants using secure channels. But it doesn't matter. Every precaution he takes is instantly undone by the ghost in his phone. The cartel continues to eavesdrop on his every move, minus the actual call audio. Not that they need it. They soon identify a second informant, a woman inside a Mexican federal agency who's been secretly feeding intel to the FBI. Just like before, the hacker pinpoints a meeting, and the cartel zeroes in on her identity. One evening, as she locks up her office, her phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "We saw you with him." She freezes. How did they know? Who else knows? And is she already too late to run? Another text. Next time, we won't just watch. Her blood runs cold. She was careful to hide her cooperation, yet somehow the cartel knows. In a panic, she grabs her bag and abandons her post, determined to disappear. That night, she hastily deletes her messages, powers off her phone, and throws it in a trash bin. With a single suitcase in hand, she heads straight to the airport. By sunrise, she's on a flight out of the country under an alias, vanishing into exile rather than become the next body on the cartel's list. She's one of the lucky ones. Over the following year, at least one more informant in the attaché's circle quietly disappears, his fate presumed grisly. Others get wind of the danger and flee while they can. One by one, the attaché's trusted contacts either vanish or ghost him entirely, suddenly too frightened to even take his calls. 3 years of FBI groundwork in Mexico collapses in 3 months. Contact by contact, source by source, all gone. The attaché is horrified. From his perspective, it's as if the cartel has a sixth sense, always knowing which people around him are talking. By late 2019, with multiple operations blown, he suspects there's a mole somewhere leaking info. Maybe corrupt cops? A breach in encrypted comms? He swaps out phones, changes encryption keys, runs internal reviews. Nothing stops the bleed. What he doesn't suspect is himself, or rather, the innocuous device in his pocket. The idea that his own phone is betraying him never crosses his mind. Why would it? The Bureau had hardened their devices against hackers, or so they believed. And so the attaché keeps using that phone day in and day out, unwittingly leading the cartel to every informant he touches. Clueless, the FBI pulls the attaché back to Washington in 2020, thinking the threat was local. He departs Mexico with his mission in tatters, haunted by the unanswered question of what went wrong. The damage, however, is done. 2 informants gone, 3 years of work undone, and 0 clues left for the FBI. In silence, the cartel had triumphed. The cartel's message is clear. Anyone who helps the feds is as good as dead or gone. And now that the FBI's Mexican operation lies in ruins, how long will it take them to discover the truth? And when they do, will anyone believe that a single hacker brought down America's most powerful law enforcement agency? It takes 7 long years for the truth to finally come out. In June 2025, a sealed Justice Department report quietly admits what really happened in Mexico. An unnamed hacker working for El Chapo's Sinaloa cartel did breach an FBI official's phone records and used Mexico City's surveillance cameras to track and kill the FBI's informants back in 2018. The FBI's worst suspicions were true. They just never imagined the leak was a piece of technology in the agent's own pocket. The Inspector General's audit calls it perhaps the most dire example yet of ubiquitous technical surveillance, and warns that recent advances have made it easier than ever for adversaries, even criminal networks, to exploit such vulnerabilities. No one even caught the hacker. The compromised attaché and the slain or scared off informants remain anonymous in the pages of the report. But even with names omitted, the revelation sends a chill through law enforcement circles. A cartel had done the unthinkable and gotten away with it. The implications are spelled out in black and white. A simple $50,000 hack enabled a cartel to outfox a billion-dollar agency and sabotage years of investigative work. Once, cartels rooted out snitches with bribes and brutality. Now, a few lines of code did the job. In response, the FBI rewrites their playbook overnight. New phones, new protocols, new paranoia. They've begun reviewing training and increasing defenses against this new kind of threat. Yet the damage is done, and the playing field has shifted. Cartels now have a blueprint for turning surveillance technology into a weapon, and law enforcement knows it. A phone in your pocket, a camera on every corner, together they became perhaps the most lethal informant of all. The war between cartels and authorities has changed. Now information is as deadly as bullets. At least now, the good guys know what they're up against. But one question still lingers. When the hunters can track you anywhere, how do you hide? The answer might be more terrifying than the hunt itself. Because right now, somewhere in the world, another hacker is watching another agent. And this time, they're not working for a cartel.